Good morning, people of God. Greetings in the name of Jesus the Christ. Thank you as you join this weekly devotional broadcast of the Methodist Church here in St. Lucia, as we present to you a life-changing God message, a message of hope, a message of peace, a message of transformation. I am your servant, Reverend Seth Ampelu. Please let us bow our heads as we go to God in prayer. My brothers and sisters, I'm reading from Nehemiah, chapter 2, verses 17 through 18. Nehemiah chapter 2, 17 through 18. Then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in. Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace. I also told them about the gracious hand of my God on me and what the king has said to me. They replied, let us start rebuilding. So they began this good work. My brothers and sisters, this morning I want to talk to you that it is time for all of us to arise and build our communities, to build our homes, to build our families. People of God, you all attest to the fact that today in our communities are filled with broken walls. The walls of morality today have been broken down. The walls of the Christian family have broken down. The walls of peace are crumbling all around us. As a result, we see crime, we see violence in our various communities. Today, my brothers and sisters, if we look around us, all we see symbolically is broken walls. We see lives that are broken with no hope for a better future. Lives that are broken because of the past failure. My brothers and sisters, the question I ask today is, do we care about the broken and devastated lives around us? So in the context of our text for today, Jerusalem lies in waste. The gates of Jerusalem were burnt with fire. Jerusalem is literal but also symbolic. It is the place of God's habitation. Jerusalem is called the holy city and the city of God. The Lord praised his name in Jerusalem. So during the Babylonian captivity, Jerusalem has been destroyed. The people of God were taken into exile. They were removed from their homeland. The Babylonians carried away both the treasures of God's house and the king's house. Babylonians carried all the captains, the mighty men of valor, the crafty men, those who were strong, and left none except the poor and the weak. Their predicament is expressed in Psalm 137, which reads, by the rivers of Babylon we sat and wept when we remember Zion. My brothers and sisters, but now they have been released and gone back to their own land. The Persians now taking over. They are liberated from their predicament. They returned back to Jerusalem and found the enemy had destroyed the city walls. So the question is, who was going to build the walls for these people? But God is so good. God, our God, stirred the heart of Nehemiah to build the walls back. And Nehemiah organized and built the walls. My brothers and sisters, today, the story of Nehemiah is a reminder to all of us to arise and build our nation together, to arise and build our communities together, to build our families together as people. God is calling us to arise and build our nation. We are the Nehemiah of our days. So to be able to build the walls in our communities, in our families, we need to identify some of the broken areas in our communities. My brothers and sisters, some of the broken areas that we need to build back is indiscipline. Today it appears and seems there are a lot of indiscipline in our communities. And therefore it is time for all of us to arise to build the issue of indiscipline. We need to speak against indiscipline in any form in our community if we want to build a better society for ourselves. The breaking down of extended family. It is time for all of us to come back, to look back to the olden days, to restore our families back. We can build it. When we decide to do it, we can do it. So it is time for all of us to come together to rebuild our broken homes. Again, we need to rebuild the unity that we used to have. Today you ask yourself, where is the unity for God's people? Where is unity for our nation? It appears the nation has been divided into two political parties. My brothers and sisters, it is time for all of us to recognize that we are one people with common destiny, and therefore we would not allow politics to divide us. We need to look at those things that are common to all of us and hold on to those tenets, things that build us, things that brings us together as people. We need to build the unity of our nation. My brothers and sisters, our society today, it appears, has marginalized God and voted him out of our collective conscience. When any society turns its back against God and reject his authority, the inevitable result will be broken down gates and walls of the society. Today, our view of morality in the country is that right is wrong and wrong is right. The steady erosion of morality has left us vulnerable and defenseless against a host of attackers, among them sexually transmitted diseases, chronic mental and emotional disorders, and senseless violence in our community. A society that has lost its sense of right and wrong is a society with broken gates, a society that is vulnerable from within and without. Our view of family in the year past, which virtues, honor, duty, loyalty, obedience, sacrifice, and chastity have gone by the wayside. It is time for us to go back and bring back those tenets to build our society, new society today. So my brothers and sisters, in their praise, we have substituted indulgence, greed, anger, personal convenience, and comfort, and self-gratification. The question now is, what hope can there be for the next generation if today's parents abandon their responsibility to model truthfulness and integrity in their homes, to instill in their children such character qualities like honesty, restraint, discipline, diligence, respect for authority, and selflessness, and to insist that their children abide by the rules of the house and the land? How long will we be able to survive this deadly epidemic of physical and sexual abuse in our communities? Absentee fathers, teenage pregnancies, abortions, children being raised from birth by daycare providers, serial divorce and remarriage, adultery, fornication, and sodomy. How can we build the broken walls of our nation? My brothers and sisters, I would like to suggest to all of us, we need to do what Nehemiah did. First, Nehemiah trusted God to provide for the dream. So if we want to build back our society, the first thing we must do as people is to trust God. It is only when we trust God that God will guide us to build our nation. In the absence of trusting God, my brothers and sisters, we will try and try and try, but we will fail. Because without God, there is nothing that we can do. And therefore, it is important for us to invite God in our nation building in order to build the broken walls and discipline in our society. The next thing that Nehemiah did was that he invited others to invest in the dream. So one person cannot build a nation. It takes all of us to build a nation. And therefore, it is important that we come together as people like Nehemiah did. He invited others and they were able to build the dream, the walls. And therefore, it is time that all of us need to come together, regardless of your political affiliation. We need to come together to see for a common goal for our nation. Again, Nehemiah understood the reality of his situation. Are we ready to admit that we have challenges? Are we ready to admit that the indiscipline of the society is escalating? We need, my brothers and sisters, to understand the situation now before we can build back the discipline in the society. Again, we could see that Nehemiah inspired others to consider what God could accomplish. He encouraged the people to believe in God. Today it appears a lot of us, we have deserted God. But if we want to build a better society, we cannot build it without God. And therefore, we need to go back to God. We need to go back to God in order to build our society. So Nehemiah inspired the people. And they came back to God. And all of them, together, they were able to build. And my brothers and sisters, finally, it is time to revisit the broken walls of our neighborhood. Today, people are in great distress. Their walls are broken down, and their gates are burned with fire. Their marriages are broken down. It is a call for all of us to identify the problem and work towards it. May God grant us the grace as we continue to journey with the Lord, that we will seek His wisdom, knowledge to build our nation.